What is up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Once again, I am Frank Red, and you are locked in the dungeon for another fantastic edition of the show. A lot going on in the world of sport. We're getting really, really close to the start of the NFL season. We're going to focus a lot on football tonight because that's number one, I think, on the top of most sports fans out there, the NFL. College football starts next week. I'm equally excited about that. A lot of intrigue with, the likes of Nick Saban retiring, all of the league changes, the Pac-12 is no more. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out as well. But the NFL is front and center, and we're going to talk about it. One of the things I'll say off the rip, by the way, my name is Frank Red. How y'all doing out there? Hit me up at Nick Frank Red on X. Subscribe to the show. If you like it, and hit the like button. It certainly helps the program, no doubt about that. But as outsiders, and when I say outsiders, even for us who create content, if you don't have the opportunity to go to practice every day, you're pretty much an outsider. And you are relying on information from those who have that opportunity, or a really quick clip from news outlets, television, so on and so forth. And I'm a person that really likes to make my own decisions, right? I think I can evaluate pretty well. But sometimes I'm mystified when I hear conversations about what's happening inside. When I'm not there, when I used to have the opportunity, I used to go out to the Raiders camp quite a bit. I never really went to the 49ers camp. I might have gone once or twice, but I went to the Raiders camp quite a bit when they were in Napa, in Oakland. And I was able to meet players, build relationships, book them for interviews, and so on and so forth. The Raiders were one of the only organizations back in the day that you would consult the media director, but you had the opportunity to really build your own relationships with players. And I love that because as somebody who was young coming up in the game, I didn't have a lot of the corporate connections. So it was really all about me just building relationships. I remember that's how I got the Charles Woodson interview. I just walked up to him and started breaking bread. Next thing you know, he was on my show. With that said, there's been a lot of conversations in the 49ers camp about who's playing well and who isn't playing well. I've even heard comments that said, I've heard people comment and say that Josh Dobbs might not make the team. And I was like, that's interesting. Because I've seen Josh Dobbs play. Is he the next iteration of Warren Moon? No, he's not. Is he a starting NFL quarterback? He hasn't shown that he is. Can he win games? Yeah, he can win games. He's shown that he can win games. Is he one of the top backup quarterbacks in the NFL? I'm not willing to go there. But when you look at some of these cats vying for jobs in the NFL as backup quarterbacks, you go, Josh Dobbs is not better than that guy? Give me a freaking break. But that's the narrative. And then we as football fans got an opportunity to see Josh Dobbs play today. He looked pretty damn good to me. Actually played better than Brock Purdy. Now, I'm not making anything of that. Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. But he's a top 10 quarterback because his infrastructure is among the best in the NFL. Plays primarily in pristine weather conditions. He plays behind the best left tackle in football. He hands the ball off to the best running back, one or two in the NFL, in Christian McCaffrey. What is a top 5 tight end? Great wide receiver. Is he good? Yes. Could somebody else come in here and do a stellar job for the 49ers? I believe they could, if they were good. I'm not comparing Josh Dobbs to Brock Purdy. What I started thinking about is something that we all have, and it's called implicit bias. And people, no, I'm not, I don't have any implicit bias. Yes, we all do. We root for people, and other people we don't necessarily root against, but we don't cheerlead for them. Even listening to the broadcast, how many times did we hear somebody say something good about Hannah Monarchy? You would have thought dude was Joe Namath. Had a good third quarter, played fairly well. But I didn't hear the same type of backslapping about Josh Dobbs. I didn't hear it. And why? I don't know. Most of the time, it's really about relationships. It's not about color. It's about relationships, connections. Maybe you look at somebody and you see yourself in that player, and then you root for them. But I think implicit bias definitely is a factor in many things in life, and certainly sports is one of them. People will probably try to argue against it because I don't know. Maybe they feel that it makes them feel bad or says something about them. And I'm saying no, it doesn't. It makes you human. We all have an implicit bias, and I think that when you acknowledge that you have it, then you can work to not allow you to draw conclusions. Interested in hearing your comments about that, because I think that, unless Josh Dobbs is doing a 180 in practice, there's no way that he shouldn't make the 49ers based on what I saw. They win a competitive game against the New Orleans Saints 16-10. And, both teams, I think, made some plays. I think both teams are going to be really competitive in their league. Derek Carr actually looked pretty good. He looks like a veteran quarterback. I just hope he can get over the top. I'm a Derek Carr guy. I like Derek Carr. But at some point during the season, lady. At some point during the season, he usually kind of gets stuck in the mud, and he goes from being okay. He lands at being okay as opposed to being above average and great. His numbers are crazy. This guy's throwing for over 4,000 yards in a season. But when you think of Derek Carr, I don't think you think of him as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You think of him as somebody who is definitely respectable, somebody who has talent, but there's something that always stops him from getting over the top. Hopefully this year, he can be his best stuff. We're going to talk about the 49ers. I know a lot of people have podcasts right now. It's right after the game, which is why I was excited to get on air to actually talk about something different. Rarely do I watch podcasts when there's multiple people talking that they disagree. Most of the time they don't disagree. Most of the time it's narrative building. And it's entertaining. It's a lot of information being spewed, but I like all of us to have our own opinions. Sometimes they're different. Sometimes they're the same. But I like to do it for myself. I don't hijack anybody's opinion. I don't do that. Another thing I want to talk about is Trey Lance. All right? And it's clear to me, and I think it's clear to most people, that there's no way that Trey Lance should have been drafted with the third pick in the first round in the NFL draft. Didn't have the nuance. He's just starting to get some nuance. Would be a prospect, maybe a late first round pick, a second round pick, maybe a third round pick. Yeah. I think he's showing now that he's not Caleb Williams coming out of college. At the same time, he's not somebody who should be on a scrap heap. What he is a person who is taking time to develop. He's starting to develop. I don't know if he'll ever be an NFL starter. Maybe he will be. But the idea that Trey Lance was a bum who couldn't play in the NFL, again, was just really puzzling to me. I go, this is totally unfair. I could rationalize why the 49ers got rid of him. And all of the reasons start and end with money. He was going to make a salary, even on his rookie deal, that demanded that he have a certain level of production that he was not ready to deliver. And at some point they realized that Brock Purdy was more ready than he was. And you can even say a better quarterback. Brock Purdy came in with a lot of experience, played, Big 12, excellent coaching. He was ready to go. God bless him. I'm happy for him. But watching Trey Lance yesterday, I watched the game again today. I'm really happy for this young man. And whether or not he's an NFL starter again, I really don't care. I would like to see him have a career. There's been a lot of quarterbacks come through the NFL that were just buried for whatever reason. I'm listening to Mark Sanchez working as an analyst of the 49ers game. Mark Sanchez coming out of college was phenomenal. And he kind of had a moment, but he kind of bounced around. He certainly didn't reach his full potential based on where he was coming out of college. Sam Darnold now has an opportunity to show football fans that, it's taking him some time, but maybe he's ready. I don't know if he's going to live up to his full potential, but I'm rooting for him. I root for the underdog, and I understand coaching. Nick Mullins, DJ Beathard, both of those guys are making a living in the NFL. They have a couple of things in common. They both played for the 49ers under Kyle Shanahan, and even when the teams were not good, they had an opportunity to get reps on the field. Under the 49ers system, all of that, that coaching prowess that they have. Trey Lance never got that opportunity. They go, oh, well, he got hurt. Oh, he got hurt. He got hurt. He got hurt. He never really got the opportunity to develop. Never. That bothers me. It really does. It really does bother me. And fans, there are some fans who are really informed and really knowledgeable about football and about sports in general. But there's a large contingent of fans also that get their information from other people who are so-called experts. You're the expert. You do your own research. Draw your own conclusions. That's the only reason why I do a show. To get information out there that I thought about, that I researched. I don't need somebody else to tell me what conclusions I need to draw. I don't have to do that. I can do it myself. And at the same time, oftentimes they're giving you wrong information. It's not right. Think about that. Nick Mullins, the guy who's known more for duck calling. He calls ducks. He's really good at that. Dude, at the end of the day, he's going to play in the NFL probably 6, 7, 8 years. be a millionaire. Maybe if you want to stay in football, then maybe become a quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, something like that. My resounding point is players get killed. I don't like that. I've said it before and I say it again. If you put Bryce Young in the 49ers system, I think you would have similar numbers to Brock Purdy. They'd be talking about Bryce Young like they're talking about Brock Purdy. This dude, the #1 overall pick, got killed last year in Charlotte. I don't know if things will be better this year. I don't know. Change your coach, and you can't necessarily change all of the bad draft picks that they have. I'm rooting for the kid. I have some implicit bias with regards to Bryce Young. I want to see him do well. Now, I'm not being ridiculous. I watched in every game that he played at Alabama for 2 years as a starter. I know he can play. I know he can process. Throws a good ball. He has to be protected. Just like we saw this evening with Brock Purdy. New Orleans said, we're going to sit the dogs on this kid. They went after him. Within the first 2 or 3 snaps, he got knocked on his butt a couple of times. I think they were like, wait a minute. This is our starting quarterback. We're letting him get beat up in a preseason game and took him out of the game. Rightfully so. Why? Because he cannot be his best self unless he's protected. I want to know if you guys saw the same thing. You know, did you see that also? Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's days of being the bomb-throwing quarterback of Seattle he was a decade ago, those days are done. I still think he's decent. I think you can still win with him. I don't think it's a crime if your football team does not win a Super Bowl. I'm one of those people. Because I understand how hard it is. You know? I mean, not winning a Super Bowl in 30 years when you have the resources the Dallas Cowboys have, it's kind of strange. But there's certain teams that simply don't have the resources. Things don't go right. I don't think it's a travesty if you don't win a Super Bowl. That should be your goal. But I like football. Show me effort. If and when you win one, the Jets won a Super Bowl in the 60s. And their fan base is rabid. So, you know, sometimes I hear like, Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 16. We should fire him. Really? They won 6. A coach's job, in my opinion, is to get the most out of their players. That's your job. Are you doing that? As a fan, ask that question. Are they reaching their full potential? That's all you can do. Somebody made a mistake with Kenny Pickett. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with Kenny Pickett. I mean, you can argue that, hey, maybe the coach had some influence when he was drafted. I don't know. I have no idea. But he's not listed as a general. Mike Tomlin is not listed as a general manager. He's a coach. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's not a defensive coordinator. He was a defensive back coach in Tampa Bay. But when it comes to coaching, I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think he's one of the best coaches of all time. You don't really hear that in the media, you know. I think it's implicit bias. I think that people fall in love with offense and offensive wizardry. And I get it. I love to see scoring. But when you under the layer of football, I mean, like, think about this. Kubiak has two sons now who are calling plays. One's calling plays for New Orleans, and another was calling plays for the 49ers. I mean, not from the regular season, but they're on their path to being offensive coordinator, head coaches. Brian Greasy. I have no doubt in my mind right now, Brian Greasy is going to be a head coach. That's how the system works. You know how unfair that is? You know, it's pretty tough. Pretty tough. I like diversity. I do. I like opportunities for all. That's not how the NFL works. For perception sometimes gets in the way of being open-minded about certain players. I love how John Harbaugh has coached Lamar Jackson. I love it. No matter how downtrodden the situation is, John Harbaugh always rides for Lamar. Always. I love that. Love it. Let's talk about the game that we saw between New Orleans and the 49ers. Cameron Latu is a guy who I watched at Alabama perform at a high level. And I don't know if he's going to make the 49ers, but I'm glad I had the opportunity to watch him play. He looks like an NFL player to me. He does. But if he doesn't make the 49ers, I think ultimately he's going to have a home in this league. He's athletic. He dropped the ball. He made 2 or 3 catches, but he didn't drop the ball. But again, I don't think that he is just like some non-player. You know, the competition might be better, but I think Cameron Latu is a talent. And I think if the 49ers can find a way to work with him, if he can step his game up, he might be a player who contributes to success. This afternoon, I was watching the tape of Chicago Bears, and I was watching Dante Pettis. I think the 49ers gave up on Dante Pettis way too soon. Now, he was a mess here. He lost his confidence. Maybe there were some other things that, you know, he didn't do that he's supposed to be doing. I don't know. But I watched Dante Pettis at Washington. Every week, he jumped off my TV screen. I think he was drafted by the 49ers maybe the second round. And they basically just cut him, gave him away. And I understand that this is a meat grinder. And the onus is on you to be your best if you have an opportunity. That's a professional sport. I get it. But sometimes it takes players longer to develop. You know, and you got to have patience to the extent that you can have patience. Now, 49ers put Cameron Latu on injury reserve last year, trying to give him a redshirt year. So he has to produce. And I was happy to see against the Saints, I thought he looked pretty good. I thought he looked good. So that's to be continued. But that was one of the things I looked at. If I'm the 49ers and I look at their quarterback room, I think keep all 4 guys. Tanner Monarchy, I apologize if I'm pronouncing his wrong name. You know, I put him, you know, as a scout team quarterback, have him pay his dues. Brandon Allen looks like he has continued to develop as a backup. Throws a pretty decent ball. But I think Josh Dobbs should be on the team. I do. I think he's going to. And I also, when I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't care how tough their division is. I think Pittsburgh is going to be competitive with everybody. Unless they have a quarterback who's playing lights out, I think the consensus is, and I would agree, they're not winning a Super Bowl. Because they got to get that position right. That's not easy. I would start Russell Wilson. I would. Now, he's not as mobile as Justin Fields. He can't make the off-the-cuff plays that Justin Fields can make. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, regardless of who plays quarterback, is going to be what they are, which is a conservative, defensive-leaning machine. Russell Wilson, I don't think, is going to throw them into trouble. Justin Fields is making clear strides as a quarterback, in my opinion. And the one area that I see his development is the same area I see in Trey Lance. Finally, footwork. His footwork is improving. And that's coaching. And when you're standing behind the wall of China at Ohio State, the Great Wall of China, and you can just throw the ball to the athlete, yeah, your numbers are going to be really, really good. But when the pressure and the heat is on in the NFL, and you got to make instantaneous decisions, it's hard. It takes time. Justin Fields is developing. I love to see players develop. Trey Lance is developing. Josh Dobbs is developing. Brock Purdy came into the league with an innate ability to remain calm, good footwork, to read the whole field. He's ready to play. But development of quarterbacks, I think, is something that needs to be improved greatly. Needs to be greatly improved in the NFL. You know, they don't do that very, very well. It's almost like hit or miss. If they find a quote franchise quarterback, smile, pats on the back, and let's go win. But they have to develop somebody. They don't do a really good job of doing that. They don't. Caleb Williams and Jalen Daniels both appear to be special. You know, both guys look like, you know, they're going to do some CJ Stroud type stuff. You know, come into the league and set it on fire. Good for the NFL. You can never have enough really good quarterbacks. And I'm happy for both of those guys, but I want to see them 3, 4, 5 years down the road after they have to deal with some adversity. But they have the nuance that you look for in a quarterback already. And they play a lot of football. I mean, Jalen Daniels played a lot of football. You know, first at Arizona State, and then at LSU. Same championship with Caleb. Caleb played for Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma, did USC, get numbers up, won the Heisman Trophy. These guys are not your average players coming out of college. The same can be said for Bo Nix. Bo Nix played, 4 or 5 years of college football at a high level. First at Auburn, and then at University of Oregon. He looked really good. The quarterback of the Denver Broncos. I would say the difference between him and Russell Wilson is the mobility. Bo Nix marks, and he has the ability to move around in the pocket and make plays. Hopefully they found that guy. Hopefully they have. I want to talk about, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Everybody's talking about it. But do you all scratch your head about the Brandon Ayuk deal? It feels like a foregone conclusion at this point that he's going to resign. And we don't know this, but it seems like he's going to resign. The question then becomes, why did it take so long? I mean, this is insane. It also proves if he resigns with the Niners for the dollar amount that he asked for or something close to that, it says that he had some leverage, not that the 49ers came. Because they're two camps. They're either give the guy his money or he has no leverage, make him play on the 5th-year option. He's not that good. Sign him for what we want to sign him for. And the reality is, it's somewhere in the middle. I was thinking about that because I hear a lot of, I wouldn't trade him, I wouldn't pay him. I would make him play on the 5th-year option. And then I thought about that. I said, okay, so I played college basketball, graduated, then I played college football. And the one thing that was really distinct about basketball and football, that in football, you really need everybody to have success. Basketball, you don't. If you get a player or two, you can ride those players all the way to the promised land. Football's not like that. So when I started thinking about Brandon Ayuk, one of your top players, being profoundly unhappy in the locker room, I was like, this is going to cause problems. Why is it going to cause problems? Because players pick sides. That oneness that you need in football to get to that next level, it can easily evaporate and disappear before your eyes in football. Because the game is so unforgiving. It's not like basketball, not like baseball. In football, you are expected to play with pain and to a reasonably degree hurt. You're frowned upon if you don't play hurt. Different game, totally different. And as an organization, the 49ers have shown that they will pay certain players, and certain players will give a hard time. Why is that? You think the players are not talking about these things? So, from Brandon Ayuk's perspective, they didn't want to pay him. They didn't think he was that good. If they didn't think they could afford him, they should have traded him a long time ago. And then you might say, well, Red, they wasn't going to make a bad trade. Well, you need to do something. When I look at what Chicago did for Justin Fields, what they traded for? 4th-round pick to Philly? To Pittsburgh? It was like, you know what? We're done with this. I don't want to crush this kid. I want this kid to be successful. But we're going to go with Caleb Williams. Right? So why do we have to be greedy? We made a decision that we don't think that moving forward, Justin Fields is the guy that we're going to go with. Sensible. The right move. And they basically gave him away to Pittsburgh for nothing. I'm not saying that you should do that with Brandon Ayuk. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there were deals out there for him. But to have this acrimony leading up to the regular season where, it feels like the band's going to be put together. That's certainly going to help the 49ers pursue a Super Bowl. I think they got a really good chance to get back. It's going to help Brock Purdy. Ultimately, it's going to help Brandon Ayuk because he's going to get paid. But why did it take so long? Why is it taking so long? 49ers are a class organization. I don't think how they conducted this shines a really good light on them. Some people say that Brandon Ayuk's antics contributed to him not being signed. I don't know about that. I don't think there's any proof to that. He can't pay himself. So I don't necessarily see that. That's all theory, all opinion. I'm just really puzzled by it. I think it's going to work itself out, particularly now with them practicing a little bit. And also, the wide receivers were decent today. Debo didn't play. Jennings didn't play. Ricky Purcell has been hurt. Some of these variables might have been a factor in restarting those conversations around whether or not the 49ers are going to work to re-sign Brandon Ayuk. Because he's a difference maker. He really is. That's all I have to say about that. That's all I have to say. Because it's really a boring, puzzling topic that we've been talking about now for months. Third. I wanted to mention Gerson Yabusele, the former Boston Celtics player who drafted 16th overall, spent a couple years with Celtics. Most recently, we got an opportunity to see him play on France's Olympic team. And, dunked on LeBron, made a lot of plays, scored in double figures against every team. And it really looks like he's matured quite a bit. I think when he first came into the NBA with Boston, he was leaning kind of on the heavy side. He's still a big cat now. Still big. But he appears to be a more mature and well-rounded basketball player. And because of that, it's already happened, or he's going to sign with Philadelphia on a $1 billion one-year contract. And I thought San Antonio might sign him because of the WNBA connection, or maybe somebody else. But for Philly to get Yabusele, I think that's awesome. I'm starting to lean more and more to the point where I can see Philly actually making some noise. Beyond just like winning a bunch of games, they got a good team now. They got a lot of balance. Nick Nurse is an excellent coach. And I'm starting to think that Philly might be the team that makes the biggest leap. I think for Boston to repeat, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. I have more appreciation now, I think fans probably do too, for the Lakers of the world and the Bulls of the world. They've repeated multiple times. Phil Jackson. Warriors won 2 in a row, I believe. It's hard to win multiple championships in a row. I don't think Boston's going to do it. I think it's going to be tough. They're going to be really good. I think my Knicks are going to be good. I think Philly's going to be good. I don't think Indiana's going to do it. I think Indiana's going to be good. Milwaukee should be better. NBA is tough. It really is. So I wanted to talk about Gerson Yabusele. I think he kind of got a raw deal with Boston. They didn't give him a lot of time. He wasn't ready. But after 2 years to get rid of him, I think that was right. My man Keith says, "What's up, Frank? If you believe the NFL will add an 18th game, aren't they making enough money? Give the players more money without exposing them to more injuries." Good comment, very sensible. But people are greedy. Let's be honest. You think $13 billion? Well, we want it. So yes, the NFL is definitely going to go to an 18th game. And over the past 2 or 3 years, it's been a case study. Because what they're saying to themselves is, let's shorten the number of preseason games to see if it really makes a difference. Guess what, Keith? It hasn't made a difference. Nobody really cares. I care about a preseason game. So they can rationalize adding another regular season game. And I think at the end of the day, the younger players, maybe not the veterans, I think the younger players are willing to sacrifice wear and tear on their bodies for another check. Now, how that check and how that sum is calculated uh, should be investigated. Because I don't know if it's just a straight, okay, you play another game, you get a game check equal to the previous 17 games. I don't know if that's how they do it. I've read some things. I've heard people say that the math gets a little funny. So if they're going to do it, I want the players to make money, to get what they deserve financially. I agree with you in that an extra game is more wear and tear on your body. There's no doubt about it. But most of the players in the NFL, the reason why I talk about some of the things I'm talking about now, they work on minimum contracts. These first string tight ends and 9% DBs, offensive linemen, no, they make good money for average people like us, including myself in that. But for professional athletes, they don't make a lot of money. They don't. I'm not even sure. I mean, you can get insurance, but I'm not even sure if you get hurt in the NFL, you get paid. Based on how your contract is. So, and you look at some of the colleges that the NFL players come from: Delta State, Southeast Mississippi State, Denver U, these directional schools. I mean, most of the time, when someone makes to the NBA, you know where they went to school. Some major university, most of the time. I like that in the NFL. These guys get it out the mud. They really do. They want money. So, again, I think you're right. I think it's driven by the owners. They make more money for the television. But if it's inevitable, which I think it is, I want to see the players get their fair share. What do you think about Trent Williams? Are there any ill feelings about Trent Williams holding out? Do you think he has a right to do it? Do you think he's wrong for doing it? Do you think, from a business perspective, he's spot on for doing it? Because they need him. They need Trent Williams. And he doesn't have any more guaranteed money on his deal. So what that means is he has 3 years left in his deal. He goes out there and he, ruptures his Achilles or breaks his leg. They don't have to pay him for those next 2 years. They don't have to. No guaranteed money. And guess what? Based on his salary, they wouldn't pay him. Or not wouldn't pay him. So, because of how football is, because of how the contract is written, you can build a very good argument that, Trent is just doing business. And he needs to get paid. Because when he can't play anymore, you can get rid of him. He says, oh God, do you believe the Raiders should trade Monty Adams and whoever else is valuable to try to get an extra pick and get a QB because they suck and got no hope for the future unless they go full rebuild mode? The answer is yes. You also said that the Raiders named Minshew as a starter. No hope or just rebuild. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think if they could get a second-round pick for him, I would trade him, definitely, because of what you're saying. He's a high-priced guy, worth every penny, but they're not going to win. Even the idea that the Raiders would go into the season with a quarterback competition with Minshew and O'Connell is disrespectful to their fans. Absolutely disrespectful. Now, I'm going to say this. I have zero confidence then if the Raiders drafted a quarterback, they can develop him. I don't have any confidence based on what I've seen. But yeah, I mean, the Raiders are not going to win this year. There's nothing about the Raiders right now that says that they can be any better than what? 9-8? 9-8 would be a really good season for the Raiders. And if you think the Raiders will go 10-7? I haven't seen it. I don't see it. You got rid of their best running back in Josh. Devontae Adams, Minshew, and O'Connell, what his name is? Come on, man. They're not even exciting. What the Raiders have going for them, I think it's Gardner Minshew, right? Yeah, Gardner Minshew. What the Raiders have for them is their fan base is sucked in. They're so loyal. They love the silver and black. I love the colors. You know, I get caught up in the history of the Raiders. I really do. You know, with Al Davis, Marcus Allen, Ken Stabler, and, you know, yeah. People who have loved the Raiders throughout history cannot easily detach themselves from the team. And going to Vegas, I guess, for the weekend, you know, doing what you do in Vegas and finishing it up by going to a football game, I guess it's fun. If you're a Raiders fan, if you're a football fan, think about, I mean, that's a cash cow. Think about how many people fly into Vegas to root for the team that the Raiders are playing. Their home crowd is not what it was in Oakland. We know this. We know this. What it has done, what the Raiders have done by moving, has made Mark Davis, I'm sure, pretty financially solvent. I don't think he was in Oakland. I'm pretty sure. Well, that wasn't checking his pocket. But it's a cash cow in Vegas. An absolute cash cow. Which would make you think that he would do everything he could do to build a winner. Man, Keith says, without IU and Trent Williams, our offense is the middle of the pack. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, again, that bandwagon that says Brock Purdy to be paid $60 billion, I'll walk. I'm not getting on that. I'm not getting on that bandwagon. I'm not. That is absurd to me. I mean, and you see it. He's a good player in a phenomenal organization with literally one of the top 5 infrastructures in the entire NFL in front of him. Great defense. Some of the best offensive coaching in the NFL. I'm not paying Brock Purdy $60 million a year. No way in hell. No way. You got to have Trent Williams. And watching these guys drop balls today against New Orleans, you got to have Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk is not only a good player, he's durable. He's tough. But I think it's just posturing. Yeah. As we get closer and closer to the start of the season, the language is starting to change. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, we don't know, but we're hopeful. We're getting close, and you know he's here. And, you know, before you didn't hear any of that. But as you get closer to week 1, Now, the narrative changed a little bit, as it should. Because when the 49ers line up their best player, despite the injuries that they've dealt with thus far, they're still a hell of a team. They really are. He says Brock needs to show what he's about this year to get paid top 5 money, just like Debo, Bosa, and you did, and IU did. I agree. As he says, I went to the Niners game today. Good for you. Hopefully you had a good time. Yeah, you know what, Keys, it's funny you say that because, and then there's the salary cap. You know, because the 49ers have proven, with the exception of McCaffrey, that you can be one of the top players and we still try to negotiate you down. You know what I'm saying? You know, get you to think that you don't deserve what you deserve based on the market. This is a Jedi mind trick. Yeah, your numbers are comparable, but, you know, we really don't think you're that good. Wait a minute. You just pat me on the back before. Those are rich people problems. Right? Owning an NFL team in which you're making billions, I'm always be about the player. Always. I'm always ride with the player because I don't own the team. I know what you have to do to play the game to get to that level. You know, I am not for players getting paid who don't earn their money. That's what I don't like. So if somebody earns their money, you know, I think you deserve every dime when you go out and you play hard. You know, like a Fred Warner. Fred Warner apparently took less, you know, but yet he's one of the top linebackers in all of the NFL. Total company guy. Never takes a day off, unless maybe take a day off. Great citizen, great ambassador. Why should he take less money? Unless he wants to. You know? Wouldn't suggest it to more people. Because when it's over, it's over. And I'm hopeful that Brock Purdy's going to go out and have a big time year. And get paid. Because again, I mean, you know, for an average person, yeah, makes good money. But you think he hasn't noticed the 20 to 25 million that he hasn't made yet? You know? Even though he's had the best opportunity of all time. You know, so I'm hopeful that he plays well. He gets a great contract. But I'm, you know, in that $50 million range. Top 10 money. I don't think that he needs to make $60 million. And to hear people say that is just, I mean, I don't know what I could do, but I would be willing to bet somebody something reasonable that there's no way in hell he's gonna make $60 million. I don't think so. I'll take that bet. I would take that bet. Is there anybody on the 49ers who has surprised you or has disappointed you? Cameron Latu, again, looks like the player that I saw at Alabama. And I think he can help the 49ers. I don't know if he's a great blocker, but I think he can play. Zaire Brown, All-Pro, future All-Pro. And guess what? They drafted him in the second round. When I watched him at Penn State, he jumped off my screen. I love watching college football. I love it. all of the star players that you see them every Saturday. I do my scouting by watching TV on Saturday. I love college football. Love it. Man, Keith says, I can't wait for college football. My team is Florida State. Who do you like? Right? I always root for Notre Dame. I love Notre Dame. It's something about the colors. They're like Golden Dome, their green jersey, their blue jersey, those golden pants. I remember when we played Notre Dame at Fordham. We played Notre Dame every year. And, growing up as a kid, watching, Digger Phelps and the conversation, no, it's not conversation, but when they play their home, I'm not going to mispronounce the arena, but walk on that campus, it's special. I mean, it's this oasis in Indiana, great Catholic institution. So I like Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, I guess, the coach. I root for him for a lot of different reasons. I can't root for Georgia, man. I can't root for Georgia. I mean, if Kirby Smart wasn't Kirby Smart, he'd be fired. I mean, they got an off season that they've had, all the problems that they've had. Are you kidding me? I mean, just god awful. Not many programs can get away with that. A phenomenal football coach. I got family in Atlanta. They love Georgia. And I get it. They're fun to watch. But when you think about the totality of what they're supposed to represent, I like Alabama. I'm not going to root for Alabama without Nick Saban. I'm going to slow ride it. I would like to see Colorado do well, but I'm not rooting for Deion in Colorado. I need to see them go through the process like everybody else. Build your program. Grind it out. They need to win some games. I can't think of the coach. I like Nebraska. I really like their coach, the former Panthers coach, former coach at Baylor, coach for the Giants as an assistant. I can't think of his name right now. But I like Nebraska. I like Florida State, too. I like Florida State. They have DJ now, right? DJ went to Florida State. And I rooted for him. I mean, I thought he got a raw deal at Clemson. He went to Oregon State, kind of got himself together. I love his size. He's not going to be a first-round pick, but I think that second or third round is a real opportunity to have a career at the NFL level. DJ, I'm not going to mispronounce the name. You guys don't know about. But yeah, I like Florida State. Not a Kiffin fan, but I think Mississippi is going to be really, really good. Penn State has an opportunity, I think, to step up this year if they can get good quarterback play. Their quarterback last year didn't play well against any of the biggies. But I like Penn State. I really do. And I like LSU. And I like LSU too. So it's a party every week, man. I love watching college football. Talking to a buddy of mine, we go to a Cal game every year. I don't know which one we're going to go to, but I love going out and watching Cal play once a year. Most of the time they don't win, but that's okay. What do you think of the NIL money? And is it keeping athletes in college longer because they get paid? Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Now, What they do with the money is a different issue. I got a feeling that many of these cats, and I guess women, women get paid too, but I think many of these young athletes don't have the support system in place to help them manage the money. So, I mean, theoretically, they could make millions and leave college with nothing. And that, I don't like that. This is what I think should happen. I think that a portion, just like in the corporate world, 401k, right? Or people in unions. It's almost mandatory that you have to take X amount of your money. I mean, I would be all for institute some type of law that says if you make NIL money, a certain percentage needs to go to a relatively safe investment. I don't think that's egregious at all. I don't. Because I don't think that most of these young people, including myself, I never made a dime to play sports. But at that point, I think I would look back on that rule if it was instituted as an older person and feel really happy that I had to do that, because then you have something when you finish. But I can think of a lot of different reasons why big brother, government, anybody else shouldn't be involved in you managing your own money. It's your life, you earned it. Theoretically, you should be able to do what you do. I get it. I also want to talk about, I don't think the case is going to win this year. Not even a little bit. I'm not rooting against them, but I don't think they're going to win this year. I don't. I was surprised they won last year. As much heat as Lamar Jackson took for not playing his best last year, what happens if the guy doesn't fumble at the goal line? Totally different game. So I'm looking forward to a really, really competitive season this year. I love football. Football is one of the few sports I can literally watch any two teams play and still be engaged. I can't do that for baseball. I can't do that for every NBA game. I'm not watching Utah against Charlotte. I'm not watching that. No freaking way. And I'm watching the Utah Jazz against the Charlotte Hornets on a Wednesday night. Oh, no, thank you. No, I'm not doing that. But the NFL, I can watch any two teams play. I'm not interested. I'm not captivated. Like, I can probably watch any two SEC teams play as well in college football. I can watch that. I was watching Hard Knocks with Chicago Bears and Eberflus, I think that's his name. So I was thinking about being in that position and being Ryan, thinking of Jim Mander's last name, the person is Ryan. Young, talented black guy, former scout of the KC. Just to think about the weight that Caleb Williams carries. Isn't that amazing? To think about this kid controlling your destiny for the next 5 to 10 years. If he does not perform, you're cooked. And they showed Eberflus, his family, his wife, his kids. If Caleb Williams is a hit, he gets an extension for millions. The general manager is the coach of Chicago. Just to kind of put things in perspective, how big this is, how much is riding on these players to perform. My favorite team as a kid was first team that I liked was the Washington team. Billy Kilmer, Tony Ferguson, Larry Brown, Jack Hamburger, you know? Joe Theismann. I can go on and on and on. That was my team. If Jalen Daniels is a hit in Washington, ooh, he's running the city. That's how much they love football. Andrew the GOAT says the Warriors still need to make any moves because they are too small right now. Good luck with that. I like the Warriors team. I do. I like them. I think that size is important, but I know too many big guys who can't play. Make some shots. I want to see the translation of great summer workout tapes from Jonathan Kuminga to production this year. Because if he averages 20 points a game within the floor of the offense, 18 to 22 and shoot 48 to 50%, 75 from the line, the Warriors going to be really, really good. So I think they have enough, man. I like their team. Are they the most talented team? No, they're not. But I like their team. I do. Drake May, his sophomore year at Carolina, he tore it up. His junior year, he looked like a totally different player. Which makes me think that Drake May is really about confidence. He has the physical ability to be a good NFL quarterback. Does he have the confidence? Does he have the focus and the concentration? But I see why New England drafted him. Will he be a superstar quarterback? I don't know. He's not real athletic. Not a dump truck, but he's not real athletic. That concerns me. He doesn't look like Josh Allen. He says, I think with all the talented young QBs and new kickoff rules is going to be the most points scored in NFL history. This year should be fun. Yeah. It's kind of wonky. I don't particularly like it. I don't think you're going to see many kickbacks. Any kickoff touchdowns. I think that's pretty much done. But they'll have better field position. So you might be right in that he's going to be starting around the 30-yard line. But in the spirit of making players safer, I get it. You want less collision. It looks kind of weird. I don't know how you feel about it. Joe Laker needs to still get Curry a second option player. Yeah, but who's that player? Andrew, who's that player? If that player is any good, nobody wants to give him up. If you look at the prognosticators and you look at what people think the playoff teams are going to win, there's a ton of teams around between 44 and 48 wins. A ton. Why? Because it's parity. Because teams are really, really close. I was thoroughly and unequivocally against acquiring Laurie Marketing. No way. I'm going to tell you why. What did he do? He went out and signed a contract for $225 million. He's never won a playoff game. That's not going to go over real well in the Warriors locker room with all of those rings there. I applaud the Warriors for not doing that. And I also said, if he goes out in the regular season, in the first half of the year, he's averaging 28 and 10 and shooting 50%, he's putting up big numbers, and Utah wants to dump him to position themselves, I'll be interested in the Warriors getting in. But right now, no way. Yeah, SG, I know you said you went to the 49ers game. I'm glad you had a great time. Hopefully you did. The Lakers is going to get a lot of boo-boos from the Warriors fans this year. You think so? It all depends on their record. If they have a horrible record, then yeah, I think you might be right, which would be insulting to me. Adults, one guy who took over an organization that had been a doormat for 13, 14 years, and during his stewardship, they won 4 titles in what, basically a decade? I mean, come on. Andrew, you wouldn't be in favor of that, would you? Tell me no. You know, I mean, that's like, the Warriors didn't really get that much better in the offseason. Financially, they did. Yes, they did, financially. And if you think that that's not a part of the process, you're wrong. The Warriors greatly improved their finances. And that was, I think that was equally important to them when being compared to putting a quality team on the court. I think they did that too. I do. I think the onus is on the players to get better, for the coaches to help the players get better. You know, for Andrew Wiggins to play 82 games this year, at least 70. When's the last time Andrew Wiggins played 70 games? You know, for Jonathan Kuminga to go out and prove that he's worthy of the contract that he wants. He hasn't proven that. I don't have a whole lot of faith in Buddy Hield. I don't think he's a scrub. He's not a scrub. But you're not depending on Buddy Hield, are you? You know, I mean, he's not terrible. He's a non-defender. He's a streak shooter. He's not a rebounder. He's not a guy who passes very well. He doesn't really drive. I'm concerned about the Warriors' backcourt. I am. I mean, I like the Anthony Milton. Brandon Podziemski is what he is. Solid player. Solid. All this other crap that I'm hearing, it kind of makes my head hurt. I'm like, really? Stop it. Andrew, to go. Do you think Christian Gonzalez could be a football player this year? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I've been watching Christian Gonzalez since we did argument. I think he's fantastic. Big time player. I don't think the 49ers really needed him. I think he makes them better, but I don't think that they really need him. When they have all of their pieces together, I think the 49ers are going to be solid on the back end. I do. Watching the 49ers, to me, what's shocking is how teams have been running on them. They got ran on today. And every time I see the 49ers getting run on, you can go, they're not playing their top flight players. Yeah, okay. But talk about scheme, all right? Because they're getting run on. And everybody thought it was Steve Wilkes' fault. You know? If we got rid of Wilkes, everything's going to turn around now. No. If I look at their defense, there's a glaring part in the team's ability to run on the 49ers. You got to fix that. Andrew says, right now, the Warriors are sadly. Sadly what? That's an adverb. It's kind of a hanging adverb. Sadly mistaken, sadly performing. I'm not quite sure. It's hanging there. Give me another word. He says, the last ever Bay Bridge series was today. I feel mad that the ownership and city government are not getting a deal done with BS. Yeah, man. I would be sad if I had not worked towards detaching myself emotionally years ago when I knew that the owner of the A's was on BS and he never really wanted to stand up. He never gave the indication that Oakland was ever going to get an opportunity to build a stadium and have a future in Oakland. And Fisher wasn't going to sell the team. So emotionally, I've been detached a long time. And that doesn't make me feel good because in spite of their slow start, they ain't got some players. They do. I think they're going to really struggle in Las Vegas. I'm not rooting for them to struggle, but Vegas is not a baseball city. It's not. The allure of football fans going there on the weekend, doing what they do in fabulous hotels, is not the same in baseball. There's a lot of games in Major League Baseball that played on Tuesday night. You know? Who goes to these games? Nobody going to these games. Nobody. I predict at some point Fisher will get there and then he'll sell the team. Somebody who wants to overpay for it, and it will turn into a money grab. The A's were a part of the Oakland culture, and they could have put something together. But you got to take the lead as an organization. The same Ross that the A's were dealing with in Oakland was in place in San Francisco. The same thing. The state senator, Corbin Kopp, his last name was Kopp, I might have his first name wrong, and I apologize, R.I.P. But their state senator, I mean, he fought against the Giants building a stadium every day of his life. Is Corbin Kopp? I can't remember his first name. But they tried everything they could do not to make that happen. The Giants is like, you know what? We'll buy our own damn stadium. We'll buy it. We'll build it. We'll buy the land. We'll do everything. And what has it been? Nothing short of a home run. I got to give Ralph Barbieri a lot of credit. You know, the former sports talk show host on KNBR. I didn't like everything that Ralph said. Ralph is passed, R.I.P. But I think Ralph Barbieri did a lot to build the momentum, keep the Giants in San Francisco, and to build that stadium. That was to me, that's Ralph's legacy right there. It really is. You know, I don't know to what extent, but similar to Carmichael Dave's legacy in Sacramento. You know, the popular morning host on KHTK. What he did when the Kings were in the balance of moving out of Sacramento and getting in the ear of David Stern is legendary. One guy. Not a millionaire, didn't put his millions up, but that continuous voice of the people, I think, had an impact on the Sacramento Kings staying in Sacramento and building what I think is one of the best arenas in the NBA for fans to watch the basketball game. awesome experience watching NBA basketball at Golden One Arena. One of the best arenas in the NBA, no doubt about it. And Carmichael Dave had a lot to do with that. Sadly, right now, the way the roster is for the Warriors, they are kind of on body hill this season. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Like, not that good? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Yeah, I know Christian Gonzalez is on the New England Patriots. He drafted him in the first round. I know that. But I'm saying, I became familiar with Christian Gonzalez when he was at Oregon. They put a DB there. I watched him every week. Week he was there. You guys know I'm a big film and movie going person. I love stories. I love telling stories. I would love, I'm sure any person would, written a screenplay, but I would love to see a screenplay that I've written come to fruition. I don't know what I would do. But this weekend I saw a movie called Ron Peace, an independent film. Mary J. Blige is in the movie, and I'm not going to butcher this guy's name. He's a famous actor from England. I don't have his name right in front of me, so I'm not going to speak. He starred in the movie and he directed. All you need to know is Ron Peace. About a kid growing up in Jersey City, who is essentially a math and science genius. Went to St. Benedict High School, which is in basketball power now. When he went there, he played water polo, ultimately went to Yale. And against all odds, he exceeded so many hurdles educationally to be in that environment, and he really distinguished himself to Yale as well. That's where things get a little tricky and the realities of life come into play. But I'm just going to tell you, the person that I went to the movies with, in the movie, she was just crying. She was crying uncontrollably. That's how effective she was in this movie. I wasn't crying. I was mad. I was mad because growing up in New York, I've seen these stories before. I've lived through these stories where you almost get to the finish line, but you don't. And it's literally one move or one decision can change your life for the good or the bad. It comes down to decision making sometimes, most of the time. So that's all I'm going to say about the movie. The movie is excellent. Go to the top of the list of best movies I've seen this year. Ron Peace. I don't think it's going to be in theaters that long because it's an independent movie. They'll probably be on some of the streaming services. Make sure you check it out. Andrew says the way the Warriors roster is together right now, sadly the Warriors have to rely on Buddy Hield this season. Okay, I got that. I'm done. SG, I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad you went to the movies. I'm glad you had fun. Yeah. Depending on Buddy Hield, that's tough. Buddy Hield couldn't even get off the bench in the playoffs on the field. And again, it's not that he can't play. It's not that he doesn't have talent. He's more than a notch below from Klay Thompson. more than enough for them. I want to Clay back more than anything, but I get it. I understand. I don't like it, but I understand. And yet, I think Draymond's still playing at a high level. I know Trace Jackson Davis can get better. I see DeAnthony Milton and Stephen playing a lot together. Like his toughness. I love DeAnthony's toughness. And Podziemski just improved a little bit. He's going to be a solid player for the Warriors. Moody, I don't know. Moody's a question mark. We all like him. You know, everybody likes Moody. Everybody likes Moody. But can he transition from being kind of a spot energy guy to being a legitimate, dependable player that Kerr can go to and know he's going to have 50 points a game? You know, kind of that Eric Gordon type league. You know, Eric Gordon's still in the league because he's so damn dependable. Coming off the Olympics, if Stephen Curry's not playing against 19 guys, I think he's fine. You know, I think he's fine. Obviously, there's no reason why any of us should really believe that Andrew Wiggins is going to have a spectacular year. Even though he's talented enough to put up big numbers. But why do we think he is? There's always been something. So I'm not making light of what something is. We don't know about it. But he's got some challenges in his life that necessitated that he step away from basketball. And yeah, we have empathy, we have compassion, but we also would love to see him reach his full potential because the Warriors be better. My mom is buying me tickets, and she's also treating me to dinner. And I'm going to a Warrior Clippers game for my 28th birthday. I'm so excited. Good for you, and good for your mom, man. That's a nice gesture. He said, I saw Caitlin Clark break the rookie assist record and playing like an all-star. Really special. Yeah, man. She's box office is what she is. It's not a game. It's not a marketing ploy. She makes watching basketball fun. We've never seen a player like her in women's basketball. Never. We talk about Keisha Fitzgerald. I watched a ton of Keisha Fitzgerald's games. The young lady who she broke Keisha's record today. You know, I worked in Sacramento. I watched a ton of her games. Keisha Fitzgerald is no Caitlin Clark. I mean, Keisha was great. I love watching her play. But she struggled shooting from 15 feet. Caitlin Clark lines it up in the logo. And she is really, think about how much better she is now than she was at the beginning of the season. And even at Iowa, she's a much better player now than she was at Iowa. She can drive, her straight line drive to the right is unstoppable. She can drive left. Early on, she was relying strictly on her step back jumper. She's not doing that now. She's driving to the basket, finishing the left side, the right side, step back. Woo! Caitlin Clark's a problem. I love watching it. Think about it. Do you ever turn the channel when the Indiana Fever is on? I don't. I watch it. You know, Mitchell, a little teammate, shoots lights out. Aaliyah Boston, they're good. and they're only going to get better. Do you think Tony Gonzalez could have played in the NBA? He would be a short power forward, but so was Colbert and Draymond. I used to play against those guys when he was at Cal. I would go up and play against Gonzalez, Trey Folks, Reese, Abdul Rahim, play, and Sean Marks used to play too. I mean, they were stacked. They had a lot of talent, and I would go up and play with them. I think Tony Gonzalez could have played in the NBA for a little while, but he would have needed to expand his game. Otherwise, he would not have lasted. He was not a great passer, and he didn't have great range on his shot. He was smart and tough. He was a good all-around player. Which means that he could have been a pretty good role player, but to have a sustained career in the NBA, you have to be able to either put the ball in the basket or you have to create points for other people, which is why Draymond is pretty unique. So, Tony Gonzalez is a good player. I think he could have made an NBA roster, but to have a sustained career, I think he would have had to grow as a basketball player. Offensively, and certainly as a passer, and it remains to be seen whether or not he was able to do that. But you saw his athleticism in football. Just be a tremendous asset because he was so dominant in that particular sport, and he was a good basketball player. Yeah, pretty good. All right, y'all. We put 90 minutes in. I want to thank y'all for engaging me in this program. Hopefully I engaged you. A lot of fun. Like I said before, it was good to see the Niners on television. We could draw our own conclusions about these players that many of the content providers are talking about because they have access to go to practice. Josh Dobbs is fine to me. For what they're asking him to do, Josh Dobbs looks fine. And I would be surprised if he didn't make the team. I think he's going to make the team. They need Brandon Ayuk. The wide receivers they have out there are playing now. They're decent, but they're not great. Purdy needs Brandon Ayuk, and he needs Trent Williams. I think we'll probably see some movement this week. Maybe on both of those guys. Maybe not. But I think at the start of the season, they'll both be in uniform. All right. Hopefully you just been pounding that like button. So that you want to support the show. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel. It helps me get my voice out there. Yeah. I'm going to do my thing, get out of here. Success in getting paid is the manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. All right, my name is Frank Red. This is the introduction show. Maybe I'll step in the middle of the week. If not, you can always depend on me doing another show on Sunday night, definitely at 9 o'clock. And everyone have a great week. Lastly, my man Keith says, thanks, Frank. Great show as always. I appreciate you and others so much. Thank you. Be safe, everybody. Have a great week.